A penny for your thoughts. Today's topic is going to be talking about a verse in the Bible that says, "Do not despise small beginnings." We have heard over the years that phrase, "a penny for your thoughts," which kind of says, well, your thoughts are probably not real big, but just let me know what you're thinking. A couple of months ago, within a matter of a few weeks, in parking lots and on my walk, I found 4 quarters on 4 different days. And I thought, man, that's kind of unique. And of course, I scooped those up and put them in my pocket. I mean, after all, that's $1, isn't it? Shortly after that, the same thing happened to me, but it was pennies, 4 pennies, parking lots and on my walk. I walked by those, kind of looked down at them, thought that's not going to make a difference in my finances, and did not pick them up. I'm going to share with you that as I was walking one day, God spoke to me. Now you may wrinkle your forehead and kind of your nose and wonder, what in the world is she saying that God speaks to her? Well, God is our creator, and he created me and he created you. And so that really makes him our best friend. And what do we do with best friends? We share our hearts, we share our thoughts. So him and I have a lot of conversations together. He also speaks to us through friends, through thoughts that come into us that had no place where they'd come from, and also through my life's manual, which is called the Bible. On this particular day, as I had passed a couple of pennies, I heard this thought inside of me, why did you pass those pennies up? And I answered back, and I said, because they would not make a difference in my finances. And then that inner thought, or what I call that inner communication and voice, said, do not despise small beginnings. That the journey you are on, choosing to want to encourage people as they are on their journeys, starts out as a small beginning, like I've done my first couple of YouTubes. But it will spread, and it will mean thousands of people will be encouraged by the stories that I share from my own life. I walked that block again. I found the 2 pennies that day that I had just ignored, and within a few days, 2 more pennies. I actually have a picture of those pennies, and I've kept the picture because it reminds me of the significance of what I want to share with you. Remember, as we have talked, that nothing in this world ever came into existence, but first it was a thought, and then a word, and then action. Over the next several YouTube's videos, I am going to share with you some different experiences in my life that literally changed the course of my life and our life because of a, quote, small thought. Significantly, back in 1979, we had 3 small children. Ron had lost his job. And in his mind came this thought, well, why don't I start my own business? I know how to build. He learned plumbing when he worked for the railroad. And so he went to talk to a very good friend of ours that was very wise and shared his thought. After a few minutes, this friend said, I think you're onto something. You do have the abilities and the skills to start your own business. Go for it. When he came home, we said, what have we got to lose? Let's do it. Now, in 1979, the economy was horrific. Interest rates were 14%. So you know that a bank was not going to lend money to a young couple with 3 children and a husband with no job. But we knew and felt that there was something to this thought. And we prayed, and we just continued to ask for direction. One day, a friend of ours asked Ron, are you still serious about starting this business? And Ron said, yes, I am. He said, well, I am going to lend you the money. And we were going to pay it back at 10% interest. He came and said, but if those payments are made on time, there will be 0 interest. Believe me, I hand-delivered payments. We went out without food. We went without other things in order to make those payments. 40 years later, what started out as a one-man business is now in Medford. Our son bought us out in the middle of the 2000s. We shut that business down in Klamath Falls, and he started his own here in Medford with all the experience and the knowledge that he obtained while growing up. So when you look at that, the small thought, should I start my own business, is today a thriving and one of the largest plumbing business in Jackson and Josephine County. I am so glad we did not despise that small beginning. In the next few videos, I am going to share with you other stories that literally changed our lives because of a thought. And so a penny for my thought, this is the first one. Remember, do not despise small beginnings. Thank you, and we'll see you shortly on another YouTube.